With February only a few days away, and more importantly, Zelda's 35th anniversary only 3 weeks away, we wanted to speculate on how likely it would be that we receive more 2D Zelda games remade for the Switch like we did with Link's Awakening in 2019. With a possible Zelda 35th anniversary direct on the horizon, it's very likely we could see another older 2D Zelda game get remade for the Switch in the same style we got with the remake of Link's Awakening. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any uploads, and let's get right into today's video. What games could we possibly see remade in that new cartoon-esque and those beautiful graphics we saw in Link's Awakening? Well, there's a decent amount of possible 2D games that could be remade in this new style. Let's start off with one that seems like it should have been remade with new graphics already, the original Legend of Zelda game. This game originally released on February 21st, 1986 for the NES, as we all know. What better way would there be to celebrate Zelda's 35th anniversary than having a remake of the first game in the series to kick off this successful franchise's birthday? It seems ridiculous that we haven't seen the original Zelda game remade in new graphics yet, especially when classics like the original Pokemon titles were remade twice already. You could also argue that the original Super Mario Bros. Game was remade with the capability of Super Mario Maker and having the original levels remade in new graphics. We of course haven't seen anything like that with the original Legend of Zelda game, and having it be remade for arguably one of Nintendo's most successful consoles, and for a reason, Zelda's 35th anniversary, would be the perfect way to bring this game back into the arms of Zelda's fans in a new style and new light. Apparently, the original Legend of Zelda game was being remade for the Game Boy Color, but was turned into Oracle of Seasons as it was decided to keep the original untouched and bring new titles to the handheld and improved Game Boy. I think seeing the first ever Zelda game remade for the Switch would be amazing, and I don't think there's a better way to celebrate this franchise's 35th anniversary than finally getting a remake of that original title for the Switch this year.
Let us move on to another strong possibility for the game we could see remade in the Link's Awakening style that we got from 2019. This game will be celebrating its 30th anniversary this year, specifically on November 21st from 1991. I'm of course talking about The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. This game was the third installment of the Legend of Zelda franchise and is of course one of the best 2D games in the series. We haven't seen any kind of remake or remaster for this game, just as we haven't for the original Zelda game, but we did get a sequel of sorts to this SNES classic in 2013 with A Link Between Worlds on a Nintendo 3DS. Seeing A Link to the Past get remade for the Switch, even in the style of A Link Between Worlds, would be amazing and makes sense as it again would have its 30th anniversary coming up this year. This game makes a very strong case for itself of being possibly remade this year, as it would provide Nintendo with an opportunity to bring back another SNES classic game on the Switch that just so happens to have an anniversary on the same year the franchise as a whole does. Who wouldn't want to see this game come back with new graphics on the Switch? We know we would. Let us know in the comments below if you agree.
Moving on from the more classic 2D Zelda games, it's possible we see a less retro title get remade for the Switch this year as well. Well, more so two titles we could see remade. These two games released for the Nintendo DS in the years 2007 and 2009. If you haven't picked up on it already, I'm of course referring to The Legend of Zelda: Phantom Hourglass and The Legend of Zelda: Spirit Tracks. Both of these 2D top-down style Zelda games were smashing successes on the Nintendo DS. They brought many people into the Zelda franchise that had never played a Zelda game before. With the original DS being arguably the most successful handheld-only console that Nintendo has made, it's no surprise that these two entries into the franchise were as successful and adored as they are, and seeing them remade for the Switch for Zelda's 35th anniversary only makes sense. Of course, if you got these games remade for the Switch, they most likely come in a 2-pack of sorts, as both games are pretty much connected, not only in the sense of having the same graphics, but also because Spirit Tracks is essentially the 100 years later successor to Phantom Hourglass. Seeing both of these games get remade for the Switch would bring about nothing but joy to the Zelda community, and we could even possibly see them release around the summer, as that seems to fit these games' themes. We see these as being the most likely post-retro era games to be remade and released for the Switch, as they really took advantage of the handheld console capabilities and were essentially milestones and instant must-haves for the Nintendo DS.
Thanks to everyone who watched this video. It's always fun to be in the weeks before we expect to hear news, because seemingly anything is possible, and we feel that we will most likely see another remake of a classic 2D Zelda game come to the Switch this year. Let us know down below which 2D Zelda game you'd like to see get remade for the Switch the most, and tell us why as well. Once again, thanks for watching this video. Leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications if you haven't already, and we'll see you all in the next one.